The Darkover series is a science fiction fantasy chronology consisting of several novels and short stories set in the fictional world of Darkover as created by author Marion Zimmer Bradley. The word Darkover is a registered trademark owned by the Marion Zimmer Bradley Literary Works Trust. Commenting on the significance of the Darkover series, science fiction author Baird Searles said that the books were destined to be the foundation of the 1970s Darkover chronology. See also, List of Darkover books for a complete chronological bibliography of Darkover books, anthologies and series by date of publication. This Darkover chronology uses the time period designations first provided by the author as A Reader's Guide to Darkover in the Heirs of Hammerfell. Some of these time periods overlap, particularly the Ages of Chaos and the Hundred Kingdoms eras. It's occasionally the case that the official Reader's Guide places a book in one era, but internal plot evidence places it in another. Additionally, Bradley was not particularly sympathetic to her fans' need to organize the books into a consistent chronology, and the timeline evidence from one book to another is sometimes in conflict. Commenting on this problem, Bradley wrote, "I have fiercely resisted any attempt to impose absolute consistency, straightforward chronology, or anything but the most superficial order on the Chronicles of Darkover." The books written between 1958 and 1996 were intended to be stand-alone stories that did not require the reader to be familiar with previous books in the series. This is less true of the books published after 1996. Bradley herself recommended that the books be read in the order in which they were written, rather than the Darkover chronological order, as her writing style changed considerably over her career. The founding. At the end of the 21st century, Earth sends colony ships out to the stars. One of these ships becomes disabled and crash lands on Darkover, the fourth planet in a red giant solar system. Unable to repair their ship and equally unable to contact with Earth, the survivors establish a colony. The colonists are primarily ethnic Celtic and Spanish, and this mix is reflected in the resultant blended culture. Bradley uses a standard lost colony trope to increase the available gene pool and maximize the chances of colonial survival. The colonists intermarry extensively and produce as many children with as many different partners as possible. Psychic and psionic abilities are acquired through interbreeding with the native Chieri people. Bradley is silent about the developments that followed the first generation of the colony, and does not make clear how many years intervene between the founding and the Ages of Chaos. The novels, Darkover Landfall and Rediscovery, suggest that at least 2,000 years have passed between the founding of the colony and Earth's recontact, but the last sentence of Darkover Landfall says that Earth did not know of its lost colony for 10,000 years. In The Planet Savers, Jason Allison says that the city of Carthon is 5,000 years old, but his observation is an outlier when considered in light of the evidence of the series as a whole. Books describing this era. Darkover Landfall, the first of the series, though not the first story published. Short stories describing this era. Vidom, Diana L. Paxson, The Keeper's Price. The Forest, Cynthia McQuillan, The Keeper's Price. A Gift of Love, Diana L. Paxson, Sword of Chaos. The Tower at New Sky, Priscilla W. Armstrong, Lironi of Darkover. The Ages of Chaos. Bradley's books constantly refer back to the Ages of Chaos, but few books are actually set in this era. In this era, the descendants of the original colonists have organized themselves into a feudal-type society, with Lauren abilities as the determiner of which individuals are part of the aristocracy and which are commoners. This period is marked by incredible creativity, the development of Lauren-based technology and weaponry, and the creation of the system of towers. Remote settlements where those with exceptional Lauran abilities are housed and trained, dominate political and social life. Unfortunately, these developments are accompanied by a period of nearly constant civil war, in which the Darkovans seem determined to exterminate themselves. Walter Breen's The Darkover Concordance indicates that the Ages of Chaos period begins about 1,000 years after the colonization of the planet, and lasts a full 1,000 years. Books describing this era: Storm Queen, Thunderlord, sequel to Storm Queen, The 100 Kingdoms. Many of Bradley's books, and a large number of the short stories, are set at the tail end of the Ages of Chaos, in a period she called the 100 Kingdoms. By this era, the Lauran breeding programs had been abandoned, and the many small principalities were beginning to consolidate into the 7 domains that survived into Darkover's modern era. Bradley's innovation, the adoption of the Compact, is a turning point in the development of Darkover's social order. The Compact bans all weapons that can be used without bringing the user into equal danger, effectively banning Lauran weapons, but allowing swords and knives. The 100 Kingdoms may be read as commentary on the use of weapons of mass destruction in Earth's own endless conflicts. Books describing this era: Orc Mistress, Two to Conquer, The Fall of Neskaya, Book 1 of the Klingfire Trilogy. Xandra's Forge coincides with Hawk Mistress, Book 2 of the Klingfire Trilogy. A Flame in Halley, Book 3 of the Klingfire Trilogy. Years of Hammerfell, The Come-In. Many of the books refer to or suggest a period of time following the 100 Kingdoms but prior to the arrival of the Terrans, in which Darkover's society is guided by the Towers and the Come-In. Bradley did not give this period an official name and did not define its length. However, textual evidence suggests that the period between the reign of King Carolyn of Hastur and the regency of Stefan Hastur is a separate era, lasting between 100 and 250 years. Recontact. Eventually Darkover is rediscovered by the Terran Empire, which establishes a spaceport, first at Kyadon and later at Thundara, the only large city on Darkover. This recontact takes place a little more than 2,000 years after the events described in Darkover Landfall. Books describing this era: Rediscovery, The Spell Sword, The Forbidden Tower, The Shattered Chain, Thundara House, City of Sorcery, Star of Danger, The Winds of Darkover. After the Common books describing this era: The Bloody Sun, The Heritage of Hastur, The Planet Savers, Shara's Exile rewrite and official replacement of the Sword of Aldernis, The World Wreckers, Hastur Lord, Exile's Song, The Shadow Matrix, Traitor's Son, Modern Darkover. At the conclusion of Traitor's Son, Bradley describes the Terrans abandoning their foothold on Darkover, and the restoration of common control over the government. Books after Traitor's Son therefore fall in their own category, which the publisher is calling Modern Darkover. The Alton Gift, Children of Kings, The Renunciates. In the introduction to Free Amazons of Darkover, Bradley wrote that her renunciates have become the most attractive and controversial of my creations. Quote, The Guild of Oathbound Renunciates, called Free Amazons and Komiletsi in earlier books, were women who had opted out of Darkover's traditional gender-based roles, including marriage, obligations to clan, and the expectation of male protection. The origins of this guild during the 100 Kingdoms era are described in Two to Conquer as the merger between the Sisterhood of the Sword, a military mercenary guild, and the priestesses of Vavar, a cloistered order that offered medical and other care to women, primarily abused women. Towards the end of Two to Conquer, Carlina Asturian comes to believe that the two guilds need to work together for the benefit of all women on Darkover. Bradley acknowledged a Patricia Matthews fan story as the origin of the Sisterhood of the Sword, and described the priesthood of Vavar as a counterforce. Bradley noted that most of the fan fiction she received was inspired by the renunciates, that she had met individuals who had taken renunciate-style names or were attempting to live in women's communes inspired by the renunciate guild houses. Books in the world of the renunciates: The Shattered Chain, Thundara House, City of Sorcery, Darkover anthologies. In addition to novels, Bradley edited and published 12 short story anthologies in collaboration with other authors, known as the Friends of Darkover. The period of cooperative collaboration, which started in 1970, ended abruptly in 1992, when Bradley's interaction with a fan rendered the novel Contraband legally unpublishable. The anthologies are now out of print owing to the publisher's concerns regarding the ownership of the copyrights of the individual stories. In the 1990 anthology, Domains of Darkover, Bradley stated that the only short stories that she considered part of the official Darkover canon were those by herself, Diana Paxson and Elizabeth Waters, and a single story by Patricia Floss, The Other Side of the Mirror. All of the other short stories published either in the anthologies or in fanzines she considered unofficial. The Keeper's Price, Sword of Chaos, Free Amazons of Darkover, The Other Side of the Mirror, Red Sun of Darkover, Four Moons of Darkover, Domains of Darkover, Renunciates of Darkover, Lironi of Darkover, Towers of Darkover. Marion Zimmer Bradley's Darkover includes To Keep the Oath, Snows of Darkover. The publication of the anthologies of Darkover was restarted in 2013. Music of Darkover, Stars of Darkover, Gifts of Darkover, Realms of Darkover, Becoming Darkover's ruling families. Bradley's first Darkover books contrasted the Lauren, feudal-based society of Darkover with the rational, technological society of the Terrans. In these books, the common of the surviving Lauren gifted families of Darkover who are ruling at the time of recontact with the Terran Empire. They are descendants of human Chieri pairings, who have learned to use native matrix stones to focus the Lauren powers. Each common family controls part of Darkover's land mass, known as a domain, but strategic intermarriage and feudal land issues result in fluctuating domain borders. Common families are also ascribed a gift, a family-specific Lauren power, though in reality, not every member of the family has the family gift. The gifts may skip generations. Of particular note is that twins often have differing amounts of the family gifts. One twin usually has more of the gifts than does the other twin. Walter Breen cites Christopher Gibson for the observation that common is derived from the Gaelic word commonan, meaning equal, and appears to refer to the communal origins of Darkover. The common families include Hastur of Hastur Gift, Living Matrix. Other names associated with this domain: Asturian, Cert is, Crest, Silver Tree on a blue background. Hastur of El Hallan Gift, ability to see all possible outcomes from every decision made, a choice presented to its wielder. Crest, Crown, Silver Tree on a blue background. Alton Gift, ability of forced rapport. Crest, eagle perched upon a tor. Other names associated with this domain: Castamere, Lanet, Lenye. Ardes Gift, catalyst telepathy. Pronunciation: in Thundara House, Jael says the name is pronounced Daisy. Aylard gift, never mentioned in any of Bradley's novels and short stories, except that it only manifests in women. In the Clingfire trilogy, it is mentioned that Aylard males capitalized on the recessive Aylard gift, making them better keepers in a working circle of telepaths. According to the Darkover Concordance, the Aylard gift is extinct. Other names associated with this domain: Lindia, pronunciation Aylard, with a long A in the first syllable and the accent on the second. Aldaran gift, ability to see into the future, sometimes to see multiple future possibilities, whether working. Other names associated with this domain: Dariel, Hillary, Hammerfell, Macarin, Rockraven, Scathefell, Storn. Notable for: Aldaran is not a formal member of the Common Council, because they never ratified the Compact, and were the first domain to interact with the Terrans. In the early ages of Chaos, Aldaran was responsible for the Cataclysm, the destruction of the original Halley Tower using a Laran weapon that created the heavier-than-air, cloud-filled Halley Lake. Rydanov Saray gift, empathy and the ability to sense and communicate with non-human intelligences. Notable for: during the Ages of Chaos, Saray was overrun by a Dry Town clan, the Rydanov, who intermarried with the Saray women. This rejuvenated the strain, and allowed the Saray gift to survive in the Rydanov bloodline. Laran, Chieri and human interbreeding, and Kierza, having handicapped her colonists with a boreal climate, limited metal resources, a short agricultural season, forests with a tendency to wildfire, and several hostile native species, Bradley gave her human colonists one survival advantage. Laran, at least one of the original colonists, Judy Lovett, has cross-species sex with a Chieri, resulting in pregnancy. This event is proposed in Darkover Landfall as the origin of psychic abilities in the human population of Darkover. Individuals descended from this union become the ruling class, owing to their Laran abilities. This cross-species breeding apparently continues for thousands of years, with certain domains notable for strong physical Chieri characteristics. The other actor in the human's acquisition of psychic abilities is the pollen of the star flower, called Kierza. Under the right weather conditions, vast clouds of psychoactive pollen blow off of fields of Kierza flowers, causing a phenomenon known as a ghost wind. Quote, a number of species, including humans, Chieri, and Yamen, appear to be susceptible to the psychotropic effects of ghost winds. Humans eventually learn to manipulate this pollen into the form of Kyrian, an alcoholic distillation used to treat threshold sickness and other Laran-based conditions. Finally, Elizabeth McIntosh, a character in the novel Rediscovery, proposes a genetic basis for the development of Laran on Darkover, noting that the original population of the colony also derived overwhelmingly from Northwest Europe, where a belief in supernatural abilities such as the second sight is common. Religious traditions of Darkover. On the whole, the inhabitants of Darkover are not particularly religious and do not celebrate any obvious religious rituals. They believe in 4 local deities: Avar, Evander, Xandru, Aldenis. These entities are believed to have power in the world, but no particular interest in individual persons. The Darkovans may have absorbed these ideas through interaction with the Chieri, a native intelligent species. The Forge folk worship the form of fire, known as Shara, who appears as a chained, red-haired female figure to those who have interacted with the Shara matrix. Bradley provides multiple explanations for Shara. In The Sword of Aldenis, Shara is described as a powerful matrix in which an Alton Laronis had become trapped eons ago. However, in the rewrite of that book, Shara's Exile, Bradley describes Shara as a portal to another dimension, through which a powerful alien energy is able to gain a foothold on Darkover. Breen describes Shara as an anthropomorphized matrix weapon, left over from the ages of chaos. Bradley offers multiple conflicting explanations for Darkover's native deities, deliberately leaving the answer open to interpretation. Some Darkovans also follow a Terran-originated belief system. These are the Christophoros, whose beliefs derive from the work of a Catholic monk, Father Valentine, who accompanied the original expedition. Christophoro is a corruption of St. Christopher of Centaurus, and the central figure of the belief system is the bearer of burdens. These two belief systems operate side by side. A Darkovan may believe in one or the other, or frequently both, without difficulty.